Show me one verse where Yahusha created the office of the Pope. You can't. Not one. And that should end the conversation right there, because the papacy is one of the clearest examples in the world of a man-made office being sold as divine authority. People act like the Pope is obvious, like he's built into scripture, like Peter was the first Pope and Rome just carried the office forward. No, that's tradition talking, not the text. Peter was a disciple. Peter was a witness. Peter had a role, but none of that equals Pope. There's no verse where Yahusha says, build a papal throne, create a supreme bishop over the whole body, hand one man a permanent succession office in Rome, or make the church answer to a future pope. That office isn't in the text. It was built later. And that matters because once a man-made office is treated like divine authority, corruption is inevitable. That's how false shepherd systems work. They take influence, turn it into rank, turn rank into office, and then turn office into something people are afraid to question. That's not kingdom order, that's religious empire. And the whole thing gets propped up by people blurring categories. Peter having keys doesn't equal pope. Peter speaking first doesn't equal pope. Peter being prominent doesn't equal pope. And Peter being used by Elohim doesn't magically create a future Roman office scripture never gives. That's the lie. The office is assumed first, then read backward into the text. And once people accept that trick, they'll accept almost anything. And this is why I keep saying structure matters. Because if you don't know how to test authority, people can build entire systems on tradition, hierarchy, robes, titles, and inherited power, then tell you it all came from Elohim. It didn't. And that's exactly why I built the course that I did, because most people have never been taught how to separate a real covenant office from a later institutional invention. They don't know how to trace authority, test claims, or read scripture without church structures already sitting on top of it. Inside the course, I break that down. I walk through the Yahusha Codex, authority structure, covenant order, false shepherd patterns, and the deeper framework that shows how man-made systems rise by stealing language, rank, and legitimacy from the text. So if you're tired of inherited religion pretending to be divine structure, you can get in the course at school.com/undeniable truths. Because the Pope isn't in the text, the office isn't in the text, and no amount of robes, gold, incense, or tradition can create what Yahusha never established. So show me one verse for the Pope. You can't. And that's why the whole system has to lean on tradition instead of scripture.